Today we are going to put together an impossible card. It gets its name from the base being all one piece and that being impossible. So here's our pieces and let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put my base together, and I'm going to chalk the edges, ink the edges of a few of my pieces. I'm just using a darker pink to go around the edges of my pink flower. I'm going to do both of the base pieces. A word of caution that this particular ink pad that I've chosen to use today is very old. You can see it's very worn. There's hardly any ink in it. That's why I'm using it directly on my pieces. If you are using a new ink pad, I would test it on a scrap piece of paper before I used it directly on my pieces I was going to use for my project, because the ink may come out too dark. I'm just going to go ahead and do these real quick. I've already got the ink out, so this is my ears. And then the smallest circle is the inside of the mouth, which I did in pink, but I want it just a little bit darker. So I'm just going to use my ink to darken the tongue and put it on a little heavier. There we go. Okay, and I can put that away. So the first one I made, I folded it backwards. So now we're doing it again. This is probably take 3. So you want your short end to be in the front. So you're going to twist it, hold it, and twist this towards you and fold this half. So this will be the short piece. It will be in the front. And you're going to twist this way. So when you close it, it's like this. When you open it, it's like that. Okay? So you want this short piece to be in the front to work correctly. You must first lay down your panels for your base. So let's go ahead and do that. My nozzle is needing some cleaning, so I'm having to use my pen to make sure it's not clogged. I'm just going, there is a slight border around the whole piece. It does tend to move a little until we put down our cross piece. It's a little, it moves a lot, so be mindful of that when you're applying these panels. Okay, so that's that part. You will see 2 pieces in your file that look like this. Now these pieces are optional, and I made them to give the center piece a little more support. I was worried that if the card was being mailed and going through mail machines, it's going to be pressed very flat and you don't want to lose all the stiffness so that your center stays up. So I'm going to use it because this particular card is going to be mailed. I'm going to put my panel pieces on. Otherwise, if you're happy with the stiffness of your paper, you would just apply this semicircle. You just glue one side, the short side, on, and you would use it without this. If you feel like you need a little extra support, maybe you didn't use a heavy enough cardstock, just use this support piece to help out your base. And it has a very small border. So just want to eyeball it. Put that on. Now when you apply this piece, you're going to line up this edge to the outside edge. You're going to glue it right on there. And you only want to glue from this side over, because we're not going to glue this side down to this other side because we want it to be able to twist. So just apply your glue here on your tab and over on this side. Just butt it right up against there. Put too much glue. So we're just gluing it to this side and that tab. And do the same thing for the back piece. So I'm first going to apply my panel. And so really what you want to do is it's from this edge over is all you want to apply the glue on. Otherwise, because this is the open space here in between, so don't put your glue here. Just go from this line down on this and then on the tab. That's why I had glue underneath mine. Push it right up against it. We want it to be a good support piece. Make sure it's pushed down. And this allows your card, hopefully, to still close and look like the flower when it's closed and open. There it is. Okay? So we can set the base aside and start working on our cat. I'm going to put my pin back in my glue. And for my cat, I have chosen gray paws. So he's a white and gray cat. So I have a gray ink, and I'm going to lightly ink around his edges. That's all I can do is lightly because this is almost completely dried out. Shadow him a little bit so that he stands out from the white base. Just like that. Okay. And I think for my paws, I'm going to get out my older black. Give me just a second to get my hands on that. Okay. The gray was so light, I don't think it would show up on gray. So I've gotten my older black to do around my paws. and around his mouth. Okay. That's all the inking I'm going to do on this particular one. But, oh, no, I am going to do a little bit more. I'm going to use the light gray around this. The cat is holding a little sign. Go ahead and put this together. And I have, these were planner stamps. It says happy birthday, and there's a little cupcake. Just gonna load those up with some ink. And I was using my Versa Magic chalk ink there. That says happy birthday. Now I'm also using my favorite go-to twine, Trendy Twine. And I'm going to put my little bow right about there. So I'm just going to make a little pile of glue that this can sit down in. Make sure you can still read happy birthday. And put that right there. And the paws holding it, I'm going to put them on the corners of my sign. So I'm going to put one there. And one here. It's easier to put the glue on this piece so that it's not hanging over and making a mess on the back side. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue because it'll dry clear here to make sure the bow stays tied. So that will dry clear and it will help keep the bow tied. And just set that aside. The next pieces I'm going to work on are the eyes. The eyes have 3 pieces. This white completely covers the circle here of the black, leaving only the eyelashes showing. And then we have the black of the eye. And I will use my pickup tool on that. That one aside and work on the next. So that's the eyes. Then we have the mouth. And this piece, remember I inked the bottom half, so I'm just going to put the glue here on the back of this. And then lay it down over there. And then he's got a little nose. go. So there's his face. And when I put his face on, I think I'm going to use a foam dot. I'm going to pop it up a little. I'm just going to arrange my pieces here, see where I want them to be. And then she's also going to have, turn her eyelashes up just a little. There, like that. And she's also going to have a bow in her hair. So let's get her applied. Excuse me while I look over it a minute and see if that's where I want her eye. There we go, right there. Then do her other eye. And then put on her nose and her mouth. There we go. Now I'll put on her ears. And the bow in her hair. There we go. Now I am going to pop the sign with a foam. I have to be careful, the bow's not quite dry yet. I probably should have waited till I was finished to put that on. Her nose there was just a little bit too high. Move that down a smidge. There we go. And then this piece is going to glue right here on our card. So go ahead and put a little glue here. The back tab goes up to about her neck. And just center it right on there. Now with your cat in place, then you can put the paws on. I suggest waiting until you put your cat on your base before you apply the paws to the bottom, just because I'm lining mine right up to the bottom, and if I put them on the cat first, they may not be in the right spot. That goes there. So there is the impossible card. Folds like this to go into the mail. She fits in a 5x7 envelope. And when you twist it and open, she sets right up. And again, I use trendy twine for my little bows that I added. And you can find that at Annie's Paper Boutique. Thank you for joining me today.